Okay, everyone. Well, it looks like it's 4:30 Pacific time, which means it's time to get started with today's online training. And I will just introduce myself quickly. I'm Jennifer Barcelos, the founder of Namastream.com. Namastream software is, I'm sure you're familiar with it if you're on this webinar today, but we allow yoga teachers and yoga studios to bring their classes online through a dedicated virtual studio that's branded and uniquely yours. So you can always learn more about Namastream at namastream.com. And we like to do these webinars to bring experts, professionals from the yoga world in to kind of provide new training opportunities and share new ideas with yoga teachers and yoga studios. So today we have Vanessa from All You Can Yoga. She's the co-founder of All You Can Yoga based in Miami. Hi, Vanessa. And I will just tell you, I'm incredibly inspired by Vanessa's work. She has a background in media and branding, and she's really doing pioneering work, taking that training and bringing it into and available to yoga teachers around the world. And so without further ado, I'd like to just go ahead and introduce you, Vanessa, and maybe if you can just share your story. I know we've had you on before, but probably many people today are joining our community for the first time. So maybe just share a little bit about your entry point into yoga and how you came to be involved with All You Can Yoga.
Sure. Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much for having me again. Really, I'm also very, I'm not lonely in this process. I love that we work towards the same goal, which is making a living doing what we love. And what we love is yoga, right? So thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Build Your Yoga brand. Well, my story with yoga, it's a love affair. Yoga found me almost 10 years ago. Was big journey here and got a diagnosis with severe scoliosis. So my background, every single member of my family, they are doctors. They still is a yogi. So the doctors say, you know, you have two choices, either surgery or start doing yoga 3 times a week. And surprisingly, that's what we chose as a family. And my sister now, it's like a little yogini. She can do everything that she wants with her body. And her scoliosis is completely cured. So pretty much that's how I came into the yoga world. I was driving her to yoga and I was watching for 2 years. I didn't find the confidence in myself to go ahead and do it, which now I look back, the soul resists what you really need. You have to pass beyond that. I was being an observant to her classes, and one day her teacher said, enough is enough. Either you come to the mat or you're not allowed in this room. And so that was my entry point, and I never went back. And it's been 10 years now. So yeah, it's been a blessing for me and for my whole family. Now everyone is doing yoga. Even my dad, sometimes he comes to the mat.
That's great. That's a great tradition. And so then somehow you started practicing yoga, and then you started a media company as well, right, while you were practicing as a student?
Me and my amazing partner, Shanna Dornbush, my best friend, we started a branding and graphic design creative boutique here in Miami. That was 2008. And really what we focus is in branding for startup businesses. So every single day, and and I became hyper flexible. So I was getting injured every time I stepped into my mat. I had to wait like 3 weeks for my injuries to recover. So it was a point like either I stop doing yoga, which I will go crazy insane, or I become a yoga teacher and I learn how to fix my. What I did, it took me 1 year with Terry Cooper, my beloved friend and teacher. And really that's how All You Can Yoga started. Because when I graduated from her teacher training, she made us do an internship, and I had to teach 4 public classes in her studio. So I started, people after my class started saying, like, asking for prices and, you know, all the information about the studio classes and stuff. And I started saying, why don't you buy a monthly package and you can do All You Can Yoga? And you know, that really organically the phrase All You Can Yoga. And people were laughing and smiling. So one day I'm in the shower and I'm like, I need to trademark All You Can Yoga. Like, I need to own that and I need to turn it into something. I don't know what. And of course, working with my own resources, I designed a logo and I decided to print a flag with the All You Can Yoga logo in it. And that's how my partner in All You Can Yoga came about. She was like, oh my God, I love that flag. I want to share yoga everywhere. Like, give me one. And we said, okay, let's go travel the world and give donation-based, like, impromptu yoga classes, and let's add a purpose to our trip. And that's what we did. And she went to Israel and I went to Thailand, and then we met in Bali, and then we went to the Philippines, and our flag was lost and it stayed in the Philippines. So now Philippines is one of our biggest communities of yoga teachers and yoga practitioners, and organically, kind of surprise for us that so many people wanted to share that dream of going out there into the world and sharing the yoga high and sharing the yoga love and sharing for yourself. So that's the story of how All You Can Yoga came to be. And when it reached a point that it was safe for me to step out of the marketing and branding industry to only focus on this, I made the jump of faith. And here we are now with more than 2,000 ambassadors all over the world and almost 5,000 aspiring teachers for yoga lovers and contribute to our community. And since then, our mission is really to make yoga more accessible to everyone everywhere by giving practical tools so that they become yoga professionals. And we more.com, or always contact me, my email, Vanessa at allyoucanyoga.com. So yeah,
it's really powerful.
A lovely journey.
Yeah. And I just want to let everyone know I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing some of what Vanessa's been saying. So if you're having some difficulty, I think it's just probably an issue with our Google Hangout, and I apologize for that. But I caught most of what Vanessa said, so I got the heart of the story, and I hope everyone else did too. But the most important thing is you can go on allyoucanyoga.com and, of course, always learn more about the brand that Vanessa created to spread the yoga love around the world. So, so Vanessa, it sounds like you've really taken to heart this need that teachers have and that yoga studios have to really build business tools and to build a set of kind of practical resources that they can use to grow their profession and to grow their business. And it seems like branding is at a central point for you just because that's what your background is in. And I'm wondering if you can just tell us a little bit about the branding process that you've gone through to create your company. And I know you have a product called the Brand Strategic Framework that you work with other yogis on, and maybe just sort of share with us a little bit more about that framework as well.
Sure. So I was working at Shake Media. We had a process that every time that we are using that to date, and it starts with a branding questionnaire, and it's 37 questions that will make you understand a little bit better where you are, who you are, what you do, what's your target, who is your audience, how is the visual story of what you're saying, what are the words that you need to use, right? And after we have a clear understanding of that, we go ahead and do a survey, and we ask our clients, okay, now that I know what I want to say, what do you have to say about who I am? So I can really integrate my own perception and my audience perception. And after we gather all that information, we go ahead and do the brand strategic framework that really, what I want to call it, is like the Bible of your brand. So that document that says every single proposition, your visual identity, your verbal identity. That's a document you give to a graphic designer, lives, to help them create a visual that with the message of your brand. So I love doing this process, and this was my job at Vanilla Shake Media. And I said, you know what? I can modify this process, add a little bit more soul into it to make it work for yoga professionals. And really, you were such an inspiration for me to do this. After our first day, it really hit me, like I can combine my two passions and make it into one single thing that I can do with all the love that I have in my heart, because this is really my passion. This is how I feel free to really make a living doing what I love the most. So thank you for that. And so I did, and I think that's very important. We talked about it, and I went and I spent my good 10 hours in the computer writing the curriculum and doing it. And I think that's key in building your brand. Because of course it's difficult to settle into one single thing, but consistency is key. And once you settle into something and you put your mind, I'm gonna do this, and you start creating through that framework, you can then modify, and you can, travel around it and try it, and trial and error, and modify it to make it better and better and better. But that's really the heart of a brand, is having a single message. And I loved how you described Namastream, because you see, in one sentence, you can say exactly who you are, what you do, and for the sake of what. And that's what we do with Build Your Yoga Brand. We help yoga professionals to come into terms with that.
Yeah, I'll add too. So I talk to yoga teachers and to some extent studios every single day through Namastream, through the work with Namastream, because I do a lot of live demos. And the teachers that are the most successful on our platform are those people who really have identified their vision and their niche product. What is their role as a yoga teacher? So am I going to be focused on a real athletic practice? Are the students that I'm going to work with are they going to be, semi-professional athletes and that's who I work with and that's my focus? Or am I going to work with people who really need a deep relaxation practice to help them sleep? Am I going to be a yoga nidra focused teacher? And I think to some extent, yoga teachers do a lot of different kinds of teaching. So it's not just the style, but it's what is your vision? What can you bring to teaching yoga that no one else can do? Because we can all go to a workshop or go online to Yoga Glow and watch, or go on YouTube even and watch lots and lots of content from famous teachers. But often what people are looking for, especially people who are not yoga teachers themselves, is someone to really kind of, who speaks to them and who can guide them in their journey towards self-discovery and healing and all the other great physical and emotional benefits that yoga provides. And so when you talk about this branding process, I think that's so powerful because that's what every single one of my clients needs in order to be successful. So they really kind of go hand in hand, because if you're just going to teach a lot of kind of random yoga classes, then you're, I think, always going to be in that situation where you're teaching whatever classes you can pick up at different studios. And if you try to bring that online or grow a business around it, or a workshop business or something, or a private business around that, it's not probably going to thrive to the same degree as if you have a really clear vision and a really clear kind of ideal yoga student that you're targeting and working with. And then you can really serve that particular type of student better if you've identified this brand, because your brand is really your vision on how you serve. It's nothing.
Yeah, branding is an experience, right?
Yeah.
Branding is the experience of from where your student parked his car and starts, getting to the stairs to get to the yoga class, and how you greet them as they come in, and how you start the class, how you talk to them afterwards, and what they feel afterward. So it's not like how many posts I do on Facebook or Instagram. It's not how many followers I get. It's about providing the right content every single time. So I want to give an example. I recently worked with a yoga teacher that she is brilliant. I love going to her class, and she's amazing. Her name is Claire Santos, and she's actually the manager of the studio where I teach 305 Yoga and Outreach here in Miami. And it's really funny because I go to her class and I know exactly what her style. I can identify the way that she grounds people at the beginning, and how it's like you can't even describe it, but you're immersed into this like high state of consciousness in which you forget about what you're doing because you're there. You're really there. You're really present. And she used to be in the army. So her way, she's not going to be the loving yoga teacher that is up here, open your heart, She's going to be the yoga teacher that comes from a dark place and help you understand and give a name to your feelings, to your sensations, so that you can understand them, you can own them. And when you're in your life and out of your mat, you remember that sensation and you know how to pause and act instead of reacting towards it. That's what she did. This is what she does every single time that I go to her class. This is what I get. I get an aha moment. I get to connect a little bit more with myself, and I get to really give words to my own feelings and sensations. And I understand a little bit more the language that my body speaks. So when I started doing the process with her, and we started going through the questionnaire, her answers to what she does every single time were I was saying, add this to add that you look, and sometimes it's a little bit annoying, but you can see right through them. you know. I wanted her to really go deep inside, and the same thing that she does, which is giving a name to a sensation, find the right words to describe how does she get there. And it's really hard for us to come into terms with those concepts alone. We often need to be creative, we need to share. That's what we humans do when we're happy, we share it. That's why social media is so big right now. We need to share an experience. And I think that's the real magic and the real power of the branding that I share with people, is that finally they have someone to listen to them, and they listen to themselves. And you know, it's a feedback all the time. It's a creative process. It's a brainstorming. And it's not only a brainstorming that starts and ends, it's a brainstorming that you can, when you leave with your little piece of paper that have all your branding guidelines. And from there, you can start making content that is really relevant to that. So it's not about posting a really nice quote on Facebook saying, I don't know, I can't even remember a quote of inspiration right now, but like, I don't know, the most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. I love that quote. But for her, that doesn't mean anything. So for her, it's more about the elixir of life is to understand the language of your own body. And her students will reflect on that. Her students will get that. So it's a matter of understanding really what's your purpose, what is that you want to share, and then sharing that information that is relevant. I think the world is saturated right now with positive messages. What we need is more practical tools.
Yeah, that's a really interesting story. I would love to know a little bit more about, so what are you able to share what came out of that process? Like what are some of the findings in her strategic framework that came out of that workshop with you?
Her daily life, from that concept, she will begin making different workshops. So the elixir out of fear, the elixir out of depression, the elixir out of what other was doubt, anxiety, victimization, anger, and so on. And let me open here the brand strategic framework for her, because it was really powerful. And then we came to her mission. So her mission is to empower students to craft their stories into inspiration and transform their challenges into choices. And then her unique selling proposition, which is that what we were talking about, that was one single sentence that explains your work. She said, exploration of the shadow in a very uplifting way.
Yeah, so that's really, I can see how having something like this, you can compare everything you're considering against this framework then. Like, is this aligned with my values? Is this aligned with the direction of my brand? And really, for a yoga teacher, the brand is you, right? Like it's you, it's who you are, what you're about. So I think I can see how that's such an empowering set of ideas to hold every time you walk into a class, even just to go teach what you bring to that class.
So with the brand strategic framework, this becomes your measuring point. So, okay, I want to talk about this, whatever concept it is that you want to share. But my verbal identity is there, so I use certain words and I compare the concept that I want to share with the Bible of my brand. And I make a consistency. And people are drawn to what they find familiar. Every time that we try something new, we feel scared, right? It's like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm still, you need to find your ground and you need to find your confidence first, and then you can open up. And that will happen.
Yeah.
So the more consistent that you are, the more familiar you become to your students, and the more comfortable they feel in going to your classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how important is it that, so I know probably a lot of the people that are attracted to both of our brands are fairly entrepreneurial yoga teachers. So yoga teachers that are interested in doing a bit more than maybe just a traditional teaching at studios, wanting to add other business revenue streams or other passions into their yoga teaching career. So I'm curious, who do you feel like this is a good fit for? Who should undergo a branding process? Should every yoga teacher go through something like this, or is this more suited for entrepreneurial minded teachers?
I think the yoga teacher is craving this kind of information. Mm-hmm. I think that as we graduate, and I'm a yoga teacher myself, so I went through this process and I felt so lost. I felt like I was a copycat of my teacher for a long, long time. And it's a matter of doing the work and going inside to find your own voice, to find your own messages. At the beginning, we can all fake, and sing a song that is a yoga class. But it's completely different, the kind of approach that you get when you're settled in what's your mission. Mm-hmm. So I think every single yoga teacher should go inwards and do self-inquiry on their mission and their core values and why are they different from anybody else, and finding their visual identity and finding their verbal identity and finding their own personality as a teacher. Also, of course, for yoga studio owners and managers, the same yoga, yeah. Because you're being a house and in a space that holds for different yoga teachers and community, and as a yoga studio, if you as a yoga studio, your mission is to have every single kind of yoga there is, so be it. But if you want to attract a certain population, you need to figure out what that is to speak to them. And sure. So I think it's for yoga teachers. I think it's for yoga studio owners. I also think it's for entrepreneurs that want to sell products within the yoga industry. It could be anything from malas to yoga pants to yoga apparel, towels, mats, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You need to settle on who you are. And again, the branding process is not something that you do once. It's something that you come back and keep coming back to it every time your brand asks you to. And I know your next question is going to be, how do I know when? Mm-hmm. And it's when you feel lost, when you feel that something is not right, when you feel that you're not enjoying it anymore as you used to, when you're lacking inspiration. It's on the dark side when you come to the branding process, because it's really, how you get inspired. It's by when you feel like everything is good, it's more difficult to get inwards for self-inquiry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I just was talking with someone earlier today about how important it is to know yourself and know why you're doing what you're doing and what your ultimate goals and vision are, because you have to think about your life in terms of opportunity cost. So I think pretty much everyone who pursues a yoga teaching career is choosing to live a life of meaning and purpose to them, right? Because this is not a glamorous road to go down in a lot of ways. It's often a financial struggle for people, and it's certainly not always the clear path from what they were doing before. So one of the things that I think is most important is to understand what your values are and what your vision is, because otherwise it's so easy just to be kind of taken along for a ride with whatever opportunities come your way. And especially as you become to grow in success in your career, you're going to get more and more opportunities to teach, to lead workshops, to lead retreats, to have other opportunities in entrepreneurial ventures. And I think having this core understanding of who you are, what your business is about, why you're doing this as a career, helps you to say no, which I think is often more important than saying yes. And many of us are, I think, often afraid to say no. And so what the process that you lead people through, I think that for me, what seems most beneficial is that you have a clear idea of what you have to compare everything that comes along against. Like, you have your BSF, so you can say, like, is this aligned with this? No. Okay, I have, even though this is a shiny object that sounds really fun and might make sense, like, it's not really aligned with who I am and what my vision is for my company. And I think that's like the key to success in business and in your career, is being able to say no.
Definitely, I agree 100% to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one. It's a hard one for most of us to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't want to miss
also
out.
I can share from Claire, and I love you, Claire. I hope you're giving me permission. Together is audio meditations that are not like your regular meditation, you know, like it's more of a combination of a cool electronic background music and sounds with her voice. She has an amazing voice, just talking and guiding you through a meditation using the music on the background. And she was kind of in a place that she felt stuck. She didn't know exactly what to write or what meditations to do. And out of our work together and our building her yoga brand, just out of this, so many ideas came. And with the Elixir of Life, which is a series of elixirs to get into a better state of mind and overcoming obstacles and knowing that you have choices, she kind of like it came to her 7 different meditations that go with her project of the music and meditation, that go with her vision of making workshops so that they can play the meditation at the end. So the more clear that you are, all these ideas will come into a big, thing that will create you as a yoga teacher. And for us, yoga teachers, content is king. Like, we constantly need to create and create and create new things, new sequences, new themes for our classes. But if your students know what they're going to get, they're going to keep coming to you. So I think I can't wait for the Elixir of Life to come. And I'll share it in All You Can Yoga so all of you can get access to it.
I would love to listen. You know, this conversation now is reminding me of, I don't know, have you ever read any of Tim Ferriss's books, like the 4-Hour Workweek or the 4-Hour Chef?
No.
Okay, so he's just such a famous entrepreneur, and I listened to his podcast and I saw that he created his first television program, so I downloaded it from iTunes the other day, and he features all of these different kind of hacks to learn skill sets really quickly. And one of the episodes, only one I bought the season to watch this one episode, was about business and how to start a business. Like, it was with Noah Kagan, who was the number 30 employee at Facebook and one of number 5 at mint.com. And they together decided to pair up and help an entrepreneur start a business in 2 days. And amazingly, I didn't even know this. They ended up working with a yoga teacher in San Francisco. And their whole time with her, they were coaching her through this process of how to define herself and create a business around her unique offering and her unique brand. And anyway, I'll leave it up to you to find this on iTunes and watch it. It was interesting because it's echoing exactly what you do, Vanessa. And it's like, these are two of the most kind of sought after entrepreneurial minds alive. And here we get to watch them coach this yoga teacher. And she ended up creating this yoga disco party. And it's like a yoga practice disco party, just like really uniquely her, upbeat and fun and whimsical. And it was just fascinating to watch them go through this process of helping her to define who she is and who she wants to serve and what her vision is, but also to challenge, like it really involves challenging yourself. So the first part is being willing to be brave enough to really think about the answers to those questions that are in this questionnaire, really to go deep, because it's easy to give a surface level answer, as you were describing with your friend. And then the other piece, yeah,
and then all the
yoga
teachers can say the same. They all want to change the world. They all want to heal people through the practice of yoga and meditation. But the question is how? How? Like, tell me how. Let me put the lights on. I feel I'm getting really dark in here. Okay.
It's dark. It's later in Miami.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it is about how. It's about how and it's unique to you. I mean, when Tim Ferriss and Noah Kagan took her yoga class, because they both sat in on a regular class of hers in a studio, they're like, that was great, but it was like every other yoga class I've ever taken. So what's different about you? What elements do you want to bring in? Like, what fun things, if you could incorporate anything, do you want to bring into who you are as a yoga teacher? And that's like just such a gift to give to yourself, to really think through those questions. Like, can you bring all the talent and skill and strength that you bring as a traditional teacher? Like, how, but that's all great, but you're the only version of you that exists in the world, and you're your brand, because increasingly in our world, we are our own brand. Whether, like Vanessa, you and I have names, like company names for our brand, but the brands are still us, right? Like, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. So why you? Like, why are you doing this? And what can you get, like, how can you best serve the world through your unique gift and genius?
Definitely. And I want to add to that for me, when I started All You Can Yoga along with Alexandra, my partner, I really forgot about myself. I started doing All You Can Yoga, and one of the most amazing attributes to the All You Can Yoga brand is that it's really flexible. It's always adapting to the teacher. No, we don't ask the teacher to adapt to All You Can Yoga. So it's always the voice of the yoga teacher or the yoga studio or whoever we work with at All You Can Yoga. That person adds their own brand, their own flavor, their own yoga heart into the equation. And in every single product that we share, or in every single service that we do. And to me, I was feeling kind of lost in my personal yoga practice and in my personal teaching style. I was feeling like, okay, through All You Can Yoga, I get inspired by so many teachers, and we welcome every single style, and we welcome everyone that teaches yoga within the yoga world, and we honor them, and we are open to them, whatever it is, even if you invented your own style. We believe that anything that brings people to the mat is good, and it's yoga. So I was feeling like oversaturated with information and inspiration, and I was like, who am I as a yoga teacher? And since I stopped working at Vanilla Shake Media, and this is such an intrinsic part of me, I love concepting and I love branding, and I was feeling also lost in that sense. I stopped doing one essential part of myself, and it wasn't until I combined the yoga and the branding together that I finally said, like, okay, now I feel complete. And I incorporate lots of this into my yoga classes. So it's about understanding what do you love, and from that space, deciding what to share with others.
So one question that I get fair amount, and I don't help people with branding at all. But I hear these issues come up, which is why I'm so glad you exist to help them. But I hear people, how do I figure out what my unique value proposition is? How do I figure out what my niche service is in this community, in the yoga space? And so do you have any, obviously people can go through this process and fill out the branding questionnaire and go through this branding workshop that you offer, but do you have any recommendation on, like, some people are not, I think maybe not even there yet. Like they need a day or 2 days to sit with this.
Yeah.
Like some people definitely are ready. Like they know who they are, they have a vision, and they just need help articulating it. And I think that's amazing. And I think other people are, especially some newer yoga teachers, are in a space where they're like, how do I even get to the point where I can figure that out? Like, are there any tools or books or, just practices that you recommend to help people get in touch with why they're doing what they're doing?
I think the best way is to film yourself and practice your own classes and feel them. Because it's really different to be guiding than to be receiving. So I used to film myself and then make myself go through the process of doing my own classes. And at the beginning, of course, I hated it. I hated how my voice sounded, and I hated I didn't do this transition, and all the judgment comes. But if you stay focused on why you're doing this, I'm doing this not with the purpose of getting better at it, but to finding what are those sweet moments where the true colors shine, and you spot them and journal. But I think we need to do this process with someone. It's really difficult to do it alone. That's a practice that I did, and I did it solo, me with Vanessa in my house and no one else. But I didn't materialize that until I started taking a branding course myself with a woman that I respect, and she's my guru. She's my branding guru. And also my teacher, Terry, she kind of positioned me in the class that I teach now. And it's my most successful class. And it's a slow flow. It's a very soulful, deliberately slow practice that it's more like a dance. And so I think it's really important to ask your students, to ask your teachers, to ask for feedback. It's like, I believe that one of us should be and feel that it's a listening. It's a matter of trust ourselves and always back and them from like my mom doesn't classes, but I can teacher my as relevant that will come with information help themselves and allow how I start always the branding course is through a meditation that I love. And also our teacher trainings in All You Can Yoga start the same way. And it's like coming into this middle space, middle ground, into receiving information and knowing the steps, what to do, but also allowing nature to take care of it and allow nature to work in a way that the concept really land on you. And I think just wanting and bringing your intention and your awareness on finding your mission and finding your core values and finding who you are and what you do and for the sake of what. Just by setting your mind into that, you'll get answers.
I was muted.
Jenny, I can't hear you.
Sorry,
Okay.
I was muted. I was trying to, I was getting a little bit of feedback when you were talking, so I muted. But I was just going to say that's beautiful what you described. It's such a pure process. I think the idea of filming oneself teaching is also really fascinating and brave thing that most people are probably really afraid to do, but I think would work wonders. I know. That's how people improve at athletics. And it's not to make yourself like a more athletic, better yoga teacher. Like it's what you're describing, though, to see where you really shine. And I think that's an exercise like with the kind of technology that we all have access to is so simple. It would be so easy for anyone to just set up your phone and record yourself for teaching while you teach one of your regular classes. Just don't share that with anyone. But I love that. So we're getting close to the hour time, and I just want to make sure that we have time for you to share about the ways that people who are interested can work with you, who want to dive deeper on this. I think you offer a lot of value to people just in what you've shared with us today and on other calls that we've had. I also think any yoga teacher can benefit substantially from joining the All You Can Yoga community and being a part of that vision. But why don't you share with us a little bit more detail of your branding course that you've put together and how you've worked with yoga teachers over the past few months to really hone in on their own unique brand?
Yeah, so the branding course starts with the questionnaire. So you sign up, you receive the questionnaire, and then you have two ways of working with me. You can watch our Namastream videos. And it's really the process of me and Paola Pinto from Balance Guru. She sells beauty products that are completely recycled and good for the environment. So her brand is really amazing and her values are truly exceptional. And you can learn a lot from her just by listening to the conversation, or you can do a coaching session with me and we'll go over the responses of the questionnaire. That's on week 1. The course is a 3-week process or a 3-video process that I also encourage people to do it in the 3 weeks. So you let the concepts land in a fair amount of time. After having the questionnaire ready, the homework is to do a survey for your students or your clients if you sell a product, or the people who work closely with you. And it's 3 simple questions that will give you lots of answers. and it takes 2 minutes for your students to fill out that survey, and really the results are amazing for the teacher. And after that, we collect both answers. So we understand the questionnaire, what you feel about yourself, and we collect the answers for what your students feel about you. And after that, we create the brand strategic framework. That's on week 2. And the last part, it's really setting up real goals and understanding what are the resources that you already have, and setting up a timeline that it's feasible, that it's going to be real, and knowing that I'm there to have you accountable. So, for example, with Claire, we did a 7-week time frame in which each week she has to work on one of the meditations and one of the workshops. So when 7 weeks come to an end, she's going to receive a call from me or a visit to the studio or whatever, and I'm going to be like, show me, you know? So, and I think that's a really powerful thing also, that I work with deadlines, you know it. Like when you and I are working together, I'm always like, okay, but give me a deadline so I know how to, you know, work accordingly. So the same thing goes here on the 3rd week. And it's really, it's powerful. But it all depends on the heart that you put into it, of course, like everything else.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say that you're offering this really as a great service to the yoga community. And certainly when you did this with your media company, this process was a lot more expensive. Yeah, and so I think it's worth sharing too, that if going through this kind of branding process is of interest to you at all, it's usually something that will cost, $1,000+ thousands of dollars to do with a company.
Couple of $1,000. That's what we build our clients to do this branding process. And I'm offering the 3-week course for only $300. So I think it's really important, and I offer payment plans, so you can pay in 2 parts, and so that it's more accessible. And I'm really here because I love this, and I think it's important.
Yeah, I think that's great. Getting Vanessa's mind on your brand, if you're in a position in your business to do that, would be really unmatched. You can't find something else like this. And you can find out more about the course too. If you're watching this on the viewing page, you can just click the button below the video right now and go, or you can always go to buildyouryogabrand.com. That's Vanessa's website, and you can learn more about the program she's put together. So you can choose to work with Vanessa one-on-one. You can also go through a self-study version of the class and watch videos where Vanessa's gone through this process with Paola, and that's also quite valuable. So I think just really giving yourself permission to think about whether this would be a good fit for you and where you are in your business. Certainly every company, every brand that you have thought of and that you use every day goes through a process like this, probably quarterly, and probably has a whole team of people that work on this process. And I can say, having gone through the process myself, it's invaluable. And so that's why I love to share Vanessa's work with the world, because Vanessa, it's also so amazing that you have this skill set in branding and marketing, and that you're also so intentional and such a core member of the yoga community. So I think that's just amazing that you found a way to combine those talents and those passions. And that's really what we're all trying. That's what we're all trying to do.
I felt completely lost, and I don't understand how I didn't start doing this 1 year ago. Like I was missing the branding process, and it was one day that it came to me, and And thanks to you, I made it happen. So thank you.
No, yeah. Well, thank you for providing the service and sharing your great learning and skill with everyone. Let me try to see if we have any questions. Let's see. We don't have a super easy way on this webinar to ask questions, so I apologize. Let's see, I'm checking email. Don't see anything coming in right now. So I imagine that those folks watching, you know, if you're watching this now and you think of a question later, you can email either of us. So I'm Jennifer@namastream.com and Vanessa is Vanessa@allyoucanyoga.com. Also, I think I've gotten quite a few emails today from folks who couldn't watch it live, and we will be sending out a recording of this conversation probably tomorrow. And so if you want to watch it again or share it with a friend, you can always email us later if you have any questions for us. And certainly if you have questions about Vanessa's branding process, feel free to reach out to her. She's a wealth of knowledge.
Definitely don't be shy. And also follow us in social media. I'm always posting relevant content about branding there. So my personal Instagram is Vanebir, and also All You Can Yoga. All You Can Yoga in everything. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we're All You Can Yoga. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. And I think it's worth sharing. Vanessa has like 55,000+ Instagram followers. So, you know, she knows what she's talking about when it comes to branding and social media. And I think maybe we should have a conversation again, you know, and later, maybe next month, on just how do you really build a following? Once you've defined what your brand is, how do you actually execute on that and create a community around it? And I think that I know a lot of people are really, really curious to learn that from you as well. So we'll have to set up another conversation. Yeah.
Oh, also, we need to say that next Thursday at 7, it's 4 your time, right?
Yeah.
We're hosting another free webinar, and the All You Can Yoga is hosting Jenny, and she'll be talking about how to build your virtual yoga studio. So join us next week.
If you're interested at all in video and want to put your classes online and create a kind of a virtual studio, we'd love to teach you how to do that. So feel free. If you have an itch to get on YouTube or Instagram video or Vine, or just kind of build your whole unique virtual studio, that'll be a great opportunity to learn more about how to do that. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I'm going to go ahead and close this out, but please do stay in touch with us, and we love to serve and we love to learn about who you are. So stay in touch. Thank you, Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.